With that being said, you run vets, but I want to know, have you always ran vets? What other lead types have you tried? And why did you end up with veterans being like your top choice? Or is that not your top choice? You know what I mean? Like, can you walk a new agent through what made you, end up where you're kind of at right now with lead choices?
Honestly, so we started early on. Wes kind of had me, Wes, and a couple of others early on when we first got in the business, kind of had to figure everything out on our own. We didn't really have an upline that gave us a guideline or, much to follow. And then he eventually dropped out of the business. But we started with ILC and our Integrity Lead Center. We started with their bronze leads. At the time, they were 75 cents a piece. You're talking to people that, thought they were getting a free pizza from Domino's. That's the quality of the lead. And then we got into another lead vendor here at Family First Life, fresh final expense leads that were dripping in. And honestly, like I did well on them when I was consistently investing, but I noticed like the chargeback rate and persistency wasn't as great because a lot of those people are on very, very fixed incomes and they also don't see the importance of life insurance. So when I saw Marcos get into some bets early on when he first started, I was like, all right, I'm going to do this too. We're going to do it together and figure it out. And honestly, it's just I feel like they see the value in life insurance. They serve for our country. Family is super important to them. Same thing with friends and people around them in general are just super important to them. So I do feel like they really see the value. They're also higher income families, which doesn't mean I'm trying to run their pockets, of course, but it shows your availability and the flexibility for you to not only protect them and they have more realistic expectations with the life insurance because they can afford more, but then you're also getting paid more at the same time. I saw a lot of my book of business with final expense fall off this last fall. And I solidified pretty well. Like I make sure like nobody's replacing anything. They're not canceling stuff like that. Even if I have to downsell them once or twice, like I'm doing it. And I still saw a bunch of fall offs. I think there was a month, this was like 2, 3 months ago. I had like, I think 8 to 10 in debt just hit me. And not a single, I think maybe one policy was a veteran and that was because he had issues with his bank. So we fixed it. But since then, like my persistency has been so much better. My chargebacks are much lower. I think that's the biggest thing with veterans is they stay on the books.
100%. I'm an agent. I'm transitioning from final expense to veterans. What do you say to that person?
Go all in. Don't hesitate. Have full confidence and conviction. You may, mess up a few times, but the best thing I did to learn was just ask questions. Never be too big to ask questions. I don't care if you've been in the business for 3 months or you've been in the business for 2 years. It's always trying to find a way to learn. Even using Marcos as an example, he's only been here not even a year yet. And when I started seeing him hit really well on the veterans, I was like, okay, like he's doing something right. I'm doing something wrong. I need to go ask him what I need to do. So I think that's super important is asking questions and then go implement it, not just once. I tell this to my people all the time. Don't implement something one time because then it's not going to work. You got to do it over and over and over. And then eventually you get the hang of it. Honestly, I love talking to veterans. I shoot the crap with them. I talk football. They love talking about the military, the time they served, their experiences. So they're honestly really down to earth people. And I feel like I connect with them pretty well.
Got you. I think that's super important too. I'm hitting on a few things, not just from socioeconomically, but also just like I'm a huge person when it comes to leads. I talk about demographics and what the clientele is like, what they do on a day to day, right? How they think, how they perceive the world. Nothing wrong with final expense, really the people in general, but it just depends on, what you're trying to do with your book of business, which you've kind of already elaborated on.